Hey guys, welcome to Doctor's Tutorial. Today we're going to talk about the new Falcon 180B, the largest open source model. It is a step-by-step guide to follow easily, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. So let's dive right in. So if you are wondering what is the new Falcon 180B, this is actually the largest open source language model with 180 billion parameters. This is actually a very powerful model since it has gained recognition for its impressive performance and availability for commercial use. And before we dive into details, let's discuss how this feature can be helpful for various applications. So let's understand Falcon 180B. So quick overview onto this. This is a 180 billion parameter language model. It has incomparable performance to Google's Palm 2 Bard and is not far behind GPT-4. So it is actually touted as the Llama 2 killer due to its higher performance as a pre-trained only model. As of September 2023, Falcon 180B ranked as the highest performing pre-trained model LLM on the Hugging Face Open LLM leaderboard. So as you can see in here, performance-wise, Falcon 180B is impressive. It has the highest performing open access LLM, and it is also comparable to the Palm 2 Large, which is powered by Bard. So this is actually the graph for that one. And compared to other OpenAI models, this also outperforms 3.5 on some benchmark, and for the majority of benchmark, Falcon 180B scores between 3.5 and GPT-4. So they will be adding further information and guides surrounding Falcon 180p onto this page. So we're just gonna search this Pinecone page so that you could stay tuned onto the other things that Falcon 180b will give us. If you're actually wondering where to find this model, you could find this on Hugging Face Hub base and chat model, and you could also interact with the model on the Falcon chat demo space. So we're gonna go ahead and open that one later. And in terms of capabilities, Falcon 180p achieves state-of-the-art results across natural language tasks. As what we mentioned earlier, it has topped the leaderboard for pre-trained open access model. And in this blog post from Hugging Face, we could go ahead and see how good is Falcon 180b, how to use this, and some additional resources. So we did a quick overview already onto what is Falcon in here. And here onto how good it is. We've gone ahead and also seen this graph earlier on how it did outperform the different AI models in here. So this is actually very interesting to follow now since it is openly released. So as you can see, here are the representation as well onto this. The different models, we have the Falcon, Llama 2, Llama Falcon, and MBT, the size of this, the leaderboard score, commercial user license, and the pre-training length that they have. So these quantized Falcon models preserve similar metrics across benchmark. So the results were similar when evaluating Torch, Flow 16, 8-bit, and 4-bit. So you could see the results onto OpenLLM leaderboard. And now before we get started onto using the chatbot, this is actually intended to showcase an early fine-tuning of Falcon 180p to illustrate the impact and limitation of fine-tuning on the dataset conversation and instruction. So we encourage the community to further build upon the base model and to create even better instruct or chat versions. So there are some limitations as well for this. This model can and will produce factually incorrect information, hallucinating facts in action, as it has not undergone any advanced tuning or alignment. So it can produce problematic outputs, especially if prompted to do so. So finally, this demo is limited to a session length of about 1,000 words. So we could see the chatbot in here. So we could also type in the message in here that we want to submit. You have the retry to regenerate, the undo option, and the clear option. So here are some examples of the different things that we could say. We could ask, hey Falcon, any recommendation for my holidays in Abu Dhabi? What's the Everett? Give me a list of top 10 dive sites you would recommend around the world. Tell me more about deep water soloing, and write a short tweet about the release of our latest AI model, Falcon LLM. So we could try this one out since this one is nice. So we could just go ahead and try to click onto that, and we'll go ahead and submit, and let's wait for its response in here. So as you can see, we've gone ahead and received a response. Breaking news, we've just released our latest AI model, Falcon LLM. Get ready for even more advanced language capabilities and unparalleled efficiencies. So as you can see, this is really more like a tweet since it has also included some of its hashtags that are really Twitter-like. So you could go ahead and try to scroll down onto this website so that you could also see the hardware requirements. So they ran several tests on the hardware needed to run the model for different use cases. So these are not the minimum numbers, but the minimum numbers for the configuration we had access. As you can see, we have the different types in here, the kind, memory, and example. So you could see the different types in here, the kind, the memory, and the example. So we also have the prompt format in here. So the base model has no prompt format. So remember that it's not a conversational model. We're trained with instructions, so don't expect it to generate conversational responses. So the pre-trained model is a great platform for further fine-tuning, but you probably shouldn't directly use it out of the box. So the chat model has a very simple conversation structure. So as you can see here, system, add an optional system prompt here. User, this is the user input. Falcon, this is what the model generates. User, this might be a second turn input, and Falcon, and so on. So with the release also with 4.33, you can use Falcon 180B and leverage all the tools in the HF ecosystem, such as training and interference scripts and example, save file formats, integration tools such as bits and bytes, assisted generation, rope scaling support for larger context lengths, and rich and powerful generation parameters. So you could use the model that requires you to accept its license and terms of use, and make sure you are logged into your Hugging Face account and ensure you have the latest version of Transformers. Now let's try out this chatbot again in here. Let's go ahead and ask it to have as a recommendation for holidays. So we could also try to change the place in here, not in Abu Dhabi. We could try to have it on to other places like Hawaii. So let's try to see what it will give us. Let's click on to submit. And as you can see here is its response. I do not have any personal preferences, but I can suggest some popular activities to do in Hawaii, such as visiting Waikiki Beach, hiking up Diamond Head Crater, taking a helicopter tour of the islands, snorkeling in Hanoma Bay, attending a traditional luau, and exploring the Pearl Harbor National Memorial and enjoying your trip. So actually that is a nice one. Let's go ahead and try to ask as well for another prompt wherein it will ask to give us a list of the top 10 dive sites you would recommend around the world, and let's click on to submit. Now right after, as you can see, it has give us a list onto the top dive sites around the world. So these dive sites offer unique underwater experiences, from colorful coral reefs and shipwrecks to diverse marine life encounters. So we could go ahead and try to retry this generation so that we could go ahead and try to see another set of these dive spots. Well, if you've noticed here onto the bottom part, you could see the additional input. So if we've dragged this down in here, you should see some optional system prompts in here that you could type in. So you could also adjust the temperature, wherein the higher values produce a more diverse output. So you could just go ahead and hover this like that. You could also max new tokens, so the maximum numbers of new tokens, top P nucleus sampling, higher value sample more lower probability tokens, and repetition penalty penalized repeated tokens. So these will help you get a more better output from its generation. Now let's go ahead and try to add in a new prompt again as well. Let's try this. Tell me more about deep water soloing, and we'll go ahead and submit this. Now as you can see, it will go ahead and generate its response. So that's basically it on how you use the Falcon 180B, which is the new largest open source model onto the internet. So while Falcon 180B shows promise, it is always essential to consider your specific needs and budget when deciding which model to use. So thank you very much for joining us onto this tutorial, and we hope this has been informative to you. And if it do, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to comment it down below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on to our next video.